Today I want to talk about why you should be buying multifamily real estate right here in Canada for 2023, and of course, how you should be doing it. What's going on, everybody? My name is Andrew, and today I want to talk to you guys about multifamily real estate investing. I want to discuss a little bit about what is multifamily, when you should be getting into it, why you should be getting into it, some of the pros and cons of financing, borrowing it, and of course, selling it. How does this make a little more money, and does this make sense? So the first thing I want to start off is classifying what is multifamily property. A lot of people look at it from the aspect of, well, more than one unit. Is it 2 units? Is it 3 units? Is it 4 units? No, we're not looking at it just from the unit count. We're looking at it from classification. We want to make sure that the banks recognize this as some kind of commercially financeable product, and that is generally recognized as 6 units and above. So why would we want to look at multifamily real estate instead of maybe considering, I don't know, 2 triplexes and have 6 units right there? It's double the properties, you don't have all your eggs in one basket, and maybe it's a little easier and familiar for you to acquire. One of the first things you need to consider is that multifamily real estate is going to be purpose-built for the most part. That means that you're going to have less management headaches. They're easier properties to manage and give you an array of alternate financial options later on in your career. Now, when in your career should you be considering multifamily real estate? Well, what most people do is they play it kind of like Monopoly. They buy standard residential properties, which is single family, duplexes, maybe triplexes, and then after a certain period of time, they sell them all off so that they can start to trade up for some of those red buildings, multifamily real estate. And the reason why they do that is largely because they're now able to acquire a sizable enough down payment and buy these properties, and they have enough income to back up this option to purchase. But if you are somebody who just wants to get into real estate, can you consider just jumping straight into multifamily? And the answer is yes. However, you have to be able to overcome some of the challenges, which now brings us into some of the pros and cons of financing. Now, this is the key part of multifamily real estate I want you guys to understand, because this is where you become a true real estate investor, because a real estate investor operates and leverages finance primarily, and this is how you grow and scale in real estate even further. The main pro I want to talk about here is that multifamily purpose-built real estate is a performance-based property, meaning if you have a property with 6 units in it, 8 units in it, the rents are going to be considered heavily in the financing aspect of the building. Because at a certain point, you may not be able to service a $2 million mortgage based on your income, but if you have enough tenants in it, the rental income consideration will be taken into account to service this debt. But now, of course, the con, as I mentioned before, is that you may need 35 to 40% down, and there are higher interest rates to contend with. Right now in 2023, we're seeing interest rates at around 9% for some commercial property, and this becomes challenging for a lot of people. But as long as you're able to turn over some of the rents at a property and raise them so that you can afford it, this can become a very comfortable asset to sit on, especially as rents are rising. A $2 million multifamily property is going to buy you approximately 8 rental units. We're talking about a mix of 1 to 2 bedroom apartments with parking, laundry. If you put $800,000 down, which is a 40% down payment, you're going to have a monthly mortgage payment of approximately $10,000 a month if you are at 9%. Now, let's say we consider an average rental unit price of $1,700 per month. That brings us a total rental income of $13,600. So basically, you have $3,600 to play with here that's going to cover the rest of your taxes, maintenance, insurance, and anything else. Now, that might actually not bring you to where you need to be. That might actually bring you to a break-even point, especially if you factor in vacancies. But the takeaway from all this here is that there is effectively $13,600 of rental income that is going to be taken into consideration when financing this project. So that is the advantage of getting into multifamily real estate, where before, if you're just doing standard residential, it's all on you and your income, and it's not going to be considering such a strong performance-based property income into the equation. Which links us into now the refinancing, because if you buy a property like this and you're able to turn over some of the tenancies and increase some of the rents, that means that you can effectively increase the performance of the property, where before it brought in, let's say, $13,600, and now it's bringing in $15,000. Now you're effectively making the building more valuable, which leads us into the standard BRRRR strategy, where you can BRRRR multifamily rental properties over the course of 1, 2, 3 years. The point is that you will be able to pull out money based on the performance of the building. People always ask the question, how do I quit my job by being in real estate? Well, this is how, because if you have multifamily residential property, you don't need that income just to qualify for mortgages as much as you would with residential. But now let's talk about selling, because everybody will want to exit out of multifamily real estate at some point. And the thing to understand here is that multifamily property is not going to sell as quickly as residential property. We're no longer talking to the standard consumer audience. We're no longer selling to them. We're now selling to the investor. And investors typically look for value, and the more they buy at the market price, they are no longer value-add investors. They are now turnkey investors. So if you are getting into real estate or scaling up in real estate, what you want to do is you want to find multifamily properties that have some value to be had there, and then improve them so that they are fully turnkey for real estate investors that need to park money and just hold a headache-free multifamily rental property. And if you're really serious about doing this, make sure to click the link below. We have training programs to suit your real estate investing needs. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.